Oh, all right. So it looks like we have been able to get everyone in here. And we're going to start our best of 5 finals.
That we will. Here we go.
I'm not sure if I want to know what's going on in chat right now.
Oh, mate, you know what you do.
Between Dally and Hanette.
Get your copy passes ready. Raise your dongers here for this man in the bottom right. As I quickly mute.
Well, as we start off our finals on the bottom right, I guess this... How did you just want to eat that bananas? Let's be real. Here in the bottom right corner, map spotting all the way. In the bottom right hand corner, we have the red player. He is coming down for the land of South Korea. Gonna be representing Team NV. NV, but not us. Not envy us, just envy. He is the hashtag one true dong. He is DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is blue, representing Team NV, as this is a team kill. He just took down the Dream. Can he take down the Dong? It is NightMare.
I don't think I'll ever get used to that Team NV logo, especially now that I'm seeing it twice.
Yeah.
In an intro.
It's a bit of a shame, you know? Like, yo, where the waifus at? What's going on here?
Yeah, bring back the anime girls. Pretty sure that was the main incentive for creator joining.
Oh yeah, you know what? That probably wasn't the incentive, but that is the narrative that we are pushing.
Yep.
Oh god.
And then they decided to go corporate.
Hmm.
SMH my head, Team NV.
Let's go. Oh my, and we'll see how this plays out. Again, ZvP, we are back where we started. That's where we started with today's broadcasts 11 hours ago, and this is where we are, we are going. Oh boy, NightMare, what kind of Protoss player are you? Are you one to go for the and embrace the Void Rays? Would you go for the Tempest if you did go for a fast Fleet Beacon, or are you more of an Adept player?
I don't know which one of these players NightMare is like, but I'm gonna say, I don't care if you're not the type of player to do it. Go for the Tempest, mate. Just grab it, start sieging down your opponent. I want to see it happen more.
I mean,
but NightMare is... Oh.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was, oh god, I've never seen it win. I've seen a lot of players go for Fast Tempest in the past month or two. Seen Parting do it, Zest has done it, right? Paco Mike, Jim Rising.
Yeah. Our very own Starduck, he said he felt inspired after watching Parting do it.
I think I've seen Trigger do it as well, and whenever it happens, it just doesn't. I've never seen it work, mate. Oh god.
Which is why it's gonna be so unexpected, right? When NightMare does it now and wins with it.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's going for the Oracle.
Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, here we go, here we go. Going for the Oracle first, not the Void Ray, to begin with at least. And we'll see what DRG has here to defend. He has not gone in for a scout, he has not dove in with his Overlord, doesn't even have pneumatized carapace on the way.
Yeah, really going under the assumption that he knows what NightMare is going to be doing, which, I mean, they are teammates, so DRG definitely has a bit of background there. He has a little bit of an understanding of how NightMare plays. Sees the Oracle come in, but does not have any spores.
Doesn't, but he has Queens in position, so sometimes it doesn't even matter if you have spores. 2 drones go down. That is all he's able to get. Thankfully, DRG did have those Queens, and NightMare is committing and getting a second Oracle.
Can he get a third? No, he transitions a little bit early. 2 Oracles, though, definitely, I think the sweet spot for when you're going for builds like this. Enough to start one-shotting drones and dip in and tank a little bit of shots.
Yeah.
Doesn't delay your transition too long, though.
On top of that, in case your opponent does go for a Ling run-by to delay your third base or deny your third base, you have your Oracle there at home to use its pulsar beam and keep your third alive. But as we see, DRG is not going for Lings at all. He is going straight into Roaches.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be something very scary for NightMare. Going for the Dark Shrine though.
Ooh. Interesting choice. I saw he was going for the Twilight Council. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he's going to go for Glaives, maybe Blink, but going for the DTs is a little bit outside of the box. I mean, Spores are already here because of the Oracles. So, yeah, the DTs, they may not deal too much, but I would love to see if NightMare does something crazy and goes for, like, Blink DTs.
Dude, that'd be the dream. Is that too soon?
That's too soon, mate. Aye.
But yeah, at the very least, DTs used offensively are actually pretty good against roaches. They have a surprising amount of damage against roaches here. But DongRaeGu is moving with everything he's got. NightMare is well aware of this. He's starting to work on his blink now and his +1. But it's definitely it definitely needed to be here yesterday.
Yeah.
Dark Shrine will finish up. And again, defensive DTs, not the worst idea in the world. But it's starting to get overwhelming when it comes to DongRaeGu's army right now.
Yeah, the DTs do get morphed in, and there is no detection here, so the DTs will be able to clean this up eventually, but how much is NightMare going to lose before the roaches get cleaned up?
Far too many is the answer. Pylon gets taken out, depowers that overcharged battery, and DongRaeGu has just way too much over here.
God, that he does. There we go. The workers are finally starting to go down. NightMare will hold, but he will also lose 10 probes.
11 of them, jeez.
Also, did I lose my mind?
Thankfully, I don't believe.
What happened to the oracles?
Yeah.
How'd they die? They just like move in?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A little bit of vials, a little bit of, what's it called? A little bit of queen damage, but yeah, this third base will go down. NightMare very quickly losing his income advantage. He still is ahead when it comes to the tech. DRG only now finishing up that lair. Don't believe he has an overseer quite yet, but the Lings, like, they're doing so much here.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, across the map, a bit of a surprising result. The third base actually got killed by the DTs. The DTs are going ham here, even with detection. Like, the queens are not ideal to deal with this. Oh my God, finally, the roaches do pop out though, just in time.
And they will chase these DTs away. They did get within range of that spore, but now the overseer is done. So DRG, I mean, he's just gonna lick his wounds, he's gonna regroup. And I'm not sure if NightMare has enough to hold a second wave.
Well, we're in a really weird position where both players are on 2 base. So I want to favor NightMare a little bit, but oh my God, only if he can get his third up and he's forced to cancel.
Yeah, that's definitely a very big if. With the amount of Lings DRG has on the map right now, NightMare just unable to get a third base. DRG remaking his third. If he so wanted to, he could go for a double expand, be a little greedy, but DRG wants to end the game. He does not want this ZvP to go on for too long.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, if the DTs were able to get a couple of swipes on those Lings, it would be great if maybe the DTs could, you know, circle back and maybe take out this base once again, but detection is not too far away. It's going to be really difficult to pull that off. Yeah, the DTs is just trying to find whatever value they can. I would love it if a War Prism was made, and then the DTs kind of went into the main. But no, we could see it. War Prism is out.
And the Warp Prism is, it's out, but it's not about, if that makes sense.
Beautiful.
Still back at home right now. Being used a little defensively, which, I mean, there's micro potential there, and in case a shield battery gets repowered, you can try to repower it, but yeah, I'm not convinced. DRG with over double the army supply right now. It's making his moves, taking out these super exposed Archons. One of them anyway.
Yeah, one of them immediately does go down. The force fields are pretty decent, but there are plenty of Ravagers to deal with them. Overcharge is being used, and so far it is still safely behind the army, but it's going to be piled down.
Just like so. And there's just way too much Zerg out here for DRG. He is coming into the army of NightMare from every single angle. Not much you can do. The Disruptor doesn't quite get a Nova.
Oh, no, it does not. It goes down without getting a single shot off. Maybe that would have been enough, but GG gets called, and DongRaeGu does take game number 1.
Proving once again, he is the one true Dong.
There you go.
Dude, the combined APM of these two players. DongRaeGu with 530, NightMare with 430. Ay, that's 990. Combine it together.
Oh my, oh my. Meanwhile, discussion happening in the chats. Yes, StarCraft is a very historic game. Like, it's been around for a long time. My god, 11 years, StarCraft 2 at least.
Yeah, 11 years. Yeah, 11 years for StarCraft 2 and going on to 13 for StarCraft as a franchise overall.
What, you mean 21?
Wait, did I say 13? I mean 20. Yeah. Did I say 13? I meant 21.
What? Yeah, the thing with StarCraft is that, like, one, StarCraft 2 is pretty old, and there's a lot of players that were here from the beginning, a lot of personalities as well that have been here from the beginning. But when it comes to the Korean scene specifically, like, things bleed over because there are a lot of ex-Brood War pros that came over from StarCraft, and they were playing Brood War even more so back in the day. Like, I feel like TY is probably the best example of that.
TY especially.
Because TY was the youngest pro period playing in Brood War back in the day, back in like 2005, 2006, and yeah, wow.
I think it was like, in Korean years, he was like 11 or something like that, but in actuality, he was 10.
Yeah,
a lot of bleed over. I will say though, to Annette, I relate to that. I did not even know what video games were when Wings of Liberty was a thing. Well,
yeah, but you're a child.
I knew what video games. I knew what video games were. I didn't know what RTS games were. Let's put it that way.
Or esports, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't know about esports back then. I came across this concept with CS:GO, but regardless, we are continuing our best of 5 finals here on Oxide LE, where we're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red player coming down from the land of South Korea. He is going to be representing Team NV, and I suppose he is one of those players who played Brood War at a bit of a semi-professional level, but yeah, wasn't. He was really one of the very first players to be a star in StarCraft 2. He is the hashtag one true dong. He is DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is blue, representing Team NV. Currently down 0-1, but it's okay. It's still best of 5. He's been in this position before. He has made the reverse sweep happen. It is NightMare. Oof.
Continue on, yeah.
Oh my.
Continue on with a very greedy expansion over here.
This is a very
super quick third base.
Exactly. Usually you get your third base around 30 supply. DRG 10 supply early, gets it so much faster. It does mean that his queens will be delayed. You know, ideally you make 2 queens at a time. Right now he only has enough money for 1, but he's going to be able to get away with this fast third.
Really will. The last thing that NightMare's really suspecting right now.
Yeah, he actually hasn't checked. And why would you, right? Like, he
just thinks DRG is playing straight up here.
Meanwhile, NightMare also being relatively aggressive, very fast Twilight Council behind the main base. Yo, because of how quick this Twilight Council is, are you feeling DTs?
I'm feeling DTs as a follow-up, but normally when you get the Twilight Council this early on and you go for the Robo following that up, it's gotta be Glaze, right? NightMare?
I'm waiting for the Dark Shrine.
Make a choice. There's the Glaze. I would not be surprised if he goes for the Dark Shrine as a follow-up. You know, maybe he sees that, oh, that's a very early third base. You cannot get detection there quick enough.
Yeah.
But that's super dependent on him scouting that in the first place.
Definitely. I mean, DRG, he's diving in with his Overlord. He will be able to scout this because there's nothing to stop him. The Stalker is still a ways off. So DRG, as soon as he scouts this, he should be fine, to be honest. Like, DRG, he's the OG when it comes to Glaive Adept defense in ZvP. Really, NightMare? This is what you're gonna do to DongRaeGu? Mate, do you know who you're playing?
Well, it has been a while. He may be banking on DongRaeGu forgetting that part of the meta, focusing a lot more on defending against Stargates and what have you. But DRG, he's well aware of the Twilight Council researching right now. Roach Warren goes down. And here's the funny thing about being greedy as a Zerg player, right? There's a point where it might actually help you out more in the defense. Because you have more production available to you. Absolutely what you need when you're defending against adepts like this. You need as much larva as you can possibly spend.
Yeah, and I mean, DRG has it. You know, he has this wave of links to follow the shades. He has plenty of queens to deny the War Prism. He has a spore in the middle as well, which he's going to be looking to try and burrow underneath the War Prism if it goes into creep. And roaches are on the way. Like, again, DRG, this is textbook Glaive Adept defense.
And well, yeah, he is the one who wrote the textbook.
He is. Oh boy. So NightMare is gonna have a hard time really finding some damage. He's gonna go maybe for some multi-prong, maybe try and split off with his War Prism, but right now he is keeping everything together.
Yeah, super bunched up. Will not shade on top of the links, which is fortunate. And I want to say that NightMare is at least containing DRG, but that's not really true when you're on 3 bases.
I mean,
you can't really contain a player on 3 bases.
NightMare sees all of this, and he's just testing the waters right now. He does not want to commit to a shade. Meanwhile, the War Prism does go into the main base. Oh god, you need to get out of here. Yeah, okay, he backs off. Oh my.
Thankfully, the Observer will go down, so NightMare is unable to even clear creep right now. He's retreating, tail between his legs.
Yeah, that's
has to go into the next phase of the game.
That's what I mean. Like, you're trying to, like, again, I guess DongRaeGu, really? Oh boy. All right. Thankfully, NightMare was transitioning. He does have 2 Immortals, and again, Immortals are what you want against roaches. But not being able to deal any damage early on really does hurt. But maybe DongRaeGu will be caught out, and maybe he was droning up too much. I say as DongRaeGu sees the adepts.
Potentially, yeah. DongRaeGu sees the adepts now, and he has about just enough army supply to be able to deal with that. He has a couple of transfuses on his queens right now. But if NightMare just continues the push, then I fear that there's going to be a point where DongRaeGu's defensive line collapses. He could shade out of here. And he does!
Ooh, beautiful shade there. Able to pick up the Immortals at the very last moment as well. Dodging the Biles. And now finally NightMare is looking to be able to deal some damage.
But no economic damage being dealt as of yet. Maybe 1 drone went down
the War Prism.
Throughout this. The Immortals. Yeah, the Immortals really keeping that War Prism alive right now.
Oh god, exactly.
But it's starting to get back into a quarter a bit.
Yeah, and now the adepts, they're in between the bases. Like, NightMare is able to make something happen here. The War Prism is being focused down, and it just barely manages to escape.
But there's just one less front for DongRaeGu to really contend with. But finally, the back is broken. NightMare is making his way onto these drones, taking out just about every single one of them in this base, and even more.
God, 16 drones go down. Finally, this was essential. NightMare had to deal some damage. Eventually, everything will be cleaned up, but at least NightMare was able to keep his Immortals alive. At least he was able to deal that economic damage, and he's got a 3rd behind this. Now, it's on DongRaeGu to counterattack.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty scary counterattack going his way. Again, these Immortals are pretty low. That Warp Prism is super, super low. He needs that for the micro potential. DongRaeGu almost double the army supply right now of NightMare. But that can be absolutely deceptive in a ZvP.
Oh yeah. Especially
factor in the defensive advantage as well.
Yeah, as well as the sentries, right? Force fields can do so well. To be fair, there are a lot of Ravagers here, so the force fields shouldn't really come too much into play, but what will come into play are the shield batteries and the overcharge. Oh.
Unless they get built down, which so far they do not.
Yeah, so far they do not.
Just a couple of his shots.
Exactly, the Ravagers are trying to push on forward, but the Ravagers are being focused down. The Lings, they were a little bit too late. They were not here to buffer for the Ravagers, and the Ravagers, mate, they're gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure you noticed that, but DongRaeGu was actually trying to bile down the sentries instead of force fields over there, which I get the rationale behind that, but as you said, it just really delayed the Lings from coming in. GG is called. NightMare ties up the series sideways 1-1. We're going into our king match.
God, that we are. DRG, he was defending so well to begin with, but eventually NightMare did break him. He was able to sneak around with his War Prism, commit to a Shade, which honestly was really surprising, right? Like, I'm sure DRG wasn't expecting that at all. He got a beautiful surround on the Adepts and the Immortals, and then everything just flipped on its head. GG.
That it did. GG. Well played there by NightMare. I did not think that NightMare was going to be able to pull it off when he did. I thought he needed to get into the next phase, maybe get +2 and maybe get some Archons out from there, but he managed to find DRG right at the perfect time, just before he was at a comfortable economy, right when he was starting to drone up. DRG could not pump out roach after roach after roach like he wanted to. And now, I'm going into our king match.
Oh boy, here we go. We're tied up. We are going into game number 3. We are on Jagannatha, LE.
KBBL E. Wait, what? Wait, no,
by
by the sea.
by the
Wait,
sea,
no,
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
By the sea. Will 2 for 3? Will you dance with me? Catalyst. And the top right-hand corner map spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha. KBBLE by the sea, 2 for 3. Will you dance with me? Catalyst. What? The Red Zerg player coming out from South Korea. He is going to be representing Team NV. He is the #OneTrueDong, the writer of the Adept Defense textbook. But now he needs to update it. He is DongRaeGu. DRG.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is blue, representing Team NV. It is NightMare.
Oh boy. And Jagannatha, definitely a good map for some Stargate plays. A lot of dead air you can take advantage on. At least around the corners of the map.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see NightMare go for Stargate play here. At the same time, due to these speed zones, I mean, this is a pretty good map to go for some kind of queen push as well, if NightMare does commit to the Stargate. But I just don't know if DongRaeGu is that kind of player. I haven't really seen him too much in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, I guess on Lightshade, he was pushing forward with the queens, but he did it in a manner that was a lot more conservative than I think is typical. He wasn't going all the way forward. He wasn't transfusing every single one of his Ravagers and what have you. Kept them a little bit in the middle of the map as a bit of a pit stop for retreating units.
Oh yeah.
Which ended up working out really well for him. He needed to get those queens back in base when NightMare went in with DTs. But yeah, I'm not sure if DRG is the type of player who likes doing that.
Yeah, that's the big question. We do see NightMare, he is opening up with the Stargate, which again is more of what we would expect on a map like Jagannatha. We'll see if he goes Void Rays, or if once again he decides to go for Oracles instead.
Yo, Oracles though. He has 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want him to commit to the Sky Toss just because I want to see what DRG's response is going to be, and what he prefers to go for, whether it's Hydras, whether it's...
You just want to take notes, yeah.
Yeah, whether it's Corruptors, whether he goes for a Queen push, like, different players have different styles, so we'll see. Is it a Void Ray? It is.
It is Void Ray. To start things off. Finally, something a little bit more familiar.
Yeah, and DRG should be able to scout this. He dives in with his Overlord, and there is nothing to stop the scout, so he will be able to see the Stargate opening. He will have to go in later on to confirm whether there's another Stargate behind this or a Twilight Council.
I just realized this. DongRaeGu, he's going up to 3 bases once again. He stopped mining gas.
Huh. Oh my.
Got his link speed, and then he was done.
Interesting.
Queen Ling push? Potentially?
Potentially. Like, he is making nothing but queens, which is great, especially to defend against Void Rays. We'll see if he does commit to a push. He is throwing down spores. We'll see when he does decide to start mining gas again, if at all.
I definitely want to be on the side where he never minds again. Straight up Queen Ling, let's go.
Oh god. The thing is, like, even if you go for something like that, like, ideally you want enough gas for like maybe a night or something. There we go. He starts mining gas again. It's coming.
Aww. All right. DRG hasn't completely lost it yet.
Not yet.
He's still sane.
Yeah, just being a little bit more efficient with his mining, not getting any gas until he needs it. Meanwhile, ooh, nice out of support. He will be able to get the Void Ray.
And now NightMare has a lot less map control than he'd like.
Yeah.
DRG's free to spread out his overlords, get as much vision as possible here in the middle of the map.
Mm-hmm.
Even send out a bunch of his lings just to apply a little bit of pressure on NightMare. Make sure he's not going too out of hand with his mining.
He does take out one of the drones. He does confirm that there is a third Nexus as well. Something that I don't believe he's gone in for. Yeah, he doesn't know if there is a Twilight Council, but because there are no more Void Rays, you can assume that, of course, there is a Twilight Council behind this. As we do see, NightMare is going for Charge Lots. Charge Lot Archon.
Okay. Liking that a lot. Very, very potent unit composition, especially if your opponent's going a lot more Ling heavy. DRG, he got the Roach Warren, and now he's looking to finish up his lair. He's getting +1 range. Do you think he's gonna go for Hydras?
He could. I mean, right now I'm sure he's content just going Roach Ravager Queen. And he doesn't really need anti-air at the moment, just because, you know, there's nothing else in the sky other than the one
That's
Oracle.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to concern himself too much with that. But of course he needs to scout his opponent's main to confirm that, right? And he hasn't gone in there quite yet. He doesn't know the mass amount of gateways that are being thrown down.
That he really does not, which is, again, a little bit surprising. He took out the Void Ray very, very early on, but kind of stuck to his side of the map for the most part, at least when it came to his overlords. Lynx will get on top of this third base, and takes out the shield battery, which is going to help him out a lot if he decides to push in this location. The Spire gets thrown down.
Ooh, I love it. The Muta switch on the way for DongRaeGu. Nicely done, but again, he does have to survive the initial push first because NightMare is pushing out with his Archons, with his Charge Lots.
With his Oracle as well. DongRaeGu really has to posture himself. That hatchery will finish up, and now it's gonna immediately go down.
Well, just transfuses, though. He keeps it alive just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit. Still a lot of Zealots over there attacking it down. Another transfuse gets on top of the hatchery, but the hatchery will fall. Zealots get right on top of the Queens, right on top of the Roaches. And I think NightMare is just enough. DongRaeGu will start losing ground over here, but he's retreating to a much more defensible location. He morphed in a massive amount of Roaches behind this.
That he did. What's important, though, is that DRG, he lost a lot of his Queens. I believe only 2 or 3 managed to escape. Because of that, this Warp Prism could just continue to warp in freely. Meanwhile, ooh, nice snipe there on one of the Archons.
Yeah, taking out is super, super expensive when you're going for Immortals. Like, DongRaeGu is another Immortal Archon getting very, very low. And it's super isolated right now!
Oh my god, it gets picked off! Ay, NightMare, please, pick it up, there was room in the Warp Prism! Now the Roaches are going for the counterattack. Sure, the Spire is done, but mate, DRG doesn't even care. He's going straight for nothing but Roaches going across the map. Ooh, does avoid the Stasis Ward, and now he's trying to break into the natural.
Yeah, I think you noticed the Stasis Ward just as it finished up, but he's not looking to trigger the Warp.
Oh god.
Okay, doesn't get too much. Stasis Ward does get popped. Not too many Roaches over here, but enough for a Purification Nova.
Yeah, exactly.
Time this out
the disruptor came out like just in time. The Stasis goes off as well. It looks like NightMare may be able to morph in just barely enough units. The shield batteries are coming into play.
More and more roaches are making their way across the map. DongRaeGu depowering every single shield battery over here. NightMare though utilizing the warp pistol to keep that alive, which is actually pretty smart. There's no raptors here, so you can pile that down, but the battery overcharge will run out, and it looks like DRG has way too much EPS. There was a second there where you may have thought, you know, if NightMare just turtles up hard by his natural base, he could try to turn it around, but that point is long past us. GG is called. DongRaeGu taking it to the match point.
Exactly. Just GG, well played. DongRaeGu able to hold against that mass charge Archon attack and immediately go for the counter attack. Things were looking a little bit shaky there, not going to lie. Honestly, I do think it was pretty important that he was continuing to transfuse his his fourth base, just because it was just tanking so much damage from those zealots. You know, that damage that wasn't being put on the Roach Queen.
Yeah, you could definitely definitely was it, wasn't it?
Oh boy. And
thinking back, I guess it was arguably better for that hatchery to finish up as well, because it just bought DongRaeGu so much time.
Yeah, so much lost DPS there for NightMare, and in the end, NightMare was pushed back. And to be fair, DongRaeGu, he had a backup plan, right? You know, he was ready to go into mutas, but he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna make nothing but roaches. Let's go.
Yeah, might as well. Channeling my inner rogue.
Exactly.
My inner Sue.
Oh boy.
And now we're continuing on our series.
That we are.
Could potentially be the last game, but might not as well.
I want to remind everyone, this is of course the finals, the grand finals between these two players. One of them will be our champion.
The other one will be our runner-up. That was anticlimactic after the pause there, but we are going to continue our series on 2000's Atmosphere LE.
Yes, beautiful.
I thought you were going to continue that, but here we go. In the bottom, you just don't want the copyright strike. I get you.
Exactly.
In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, sweating all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Zerg player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is now on match point. He only needs one more to win. One of the greediest Zerg players, at least in this tournament, he's been very, very greedy with his play. He is representing Team NV. He is DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have his opponent, the Korean Protoss player. He's blue, representing Team NV. It is NightMare. Oh, God.
Yeah. And I was thinking, you know, we're on 2000's Atmosphere. This is the map where NightMare started turning his series around against Dream. But he's not proxying anything yet.
He is not, and I am concerned for NightMare right now. Again, he needs to switch things up here. You know, I mean, the Glaive Adepts worked for him in one of the games, but he needs something more. Meanwhile, DongRaeGu, he's so close to that victory. Just needs one más, mate. One more.
Yeah. Un momento, por favor.
Por favor.
Arriba.
DongRaeGu once again going for the fast third. Oh, God, he just loves going for this. This feels wrong to me, not gonna lie. Like, it's so fast.
You're like, there's something I can't quite explain it.
But I
feel guilty when I see this happen.
Well, like, personally for me, like, it makes me feel uncomfortable because it delays your queens and it also delays your creep spread. And that's something that
exactly.
Yeah,
you just
like,
don't feel safe going this greedy
without the vision, without your queens, without your early lings as well. These are all things that DRG forfeits to go for the faster third. But at the end of the day, like, if your opponent isn't being aggressive, like, you get away with it and you're golden.
Speaking of aggressive though, and also golden, DRG actually taking the forward third base location on this map. So I'm thinking DongRaeGu himself is going to be playing this out a lot more aggressively. I'm watching the gas count right now. He's continuing to mine it as he gets his Link speed, so he could go for Banelings Beyond this, try to bust through Nightmare's. That wall actually isn't a wall, if I don't think.
Oh, there we go.
Now it is. Okay.
The gateway is gonna plug up that hole.
He heard me.
Oh god. Meanwhile, DRG is going into the main base with his Overlord, and I was talking about it earlier. The one game that NightMare was able to win was off of Glaive Adepts, so I guess he's going to try and pull it off again.
Well, he won off of Glaive Adepts, but he went for a very unexpected timing with them as well after testing the waters. You know, DRG being getting a little bit ahead of himself. He thought he defended against the first wave, so he was free to drone up. DongRaeGu is going to be a lot more on his toes now. Does he see the Charlie Console researching?
I mean, he does go in and he did see it researching, so he is well aware. He's also able to see the gas count, so he should be aware of what is coming his way. But we'll see if he can defend, because he did take the triangular third base, so it is easier for the War Prism to dive between bases, which can be a little bit scary. He also doesn't have creep in his main base. There is some dead air here, or some dead space where he doesn't have vision. Regardless, though, he has plenty of queens, plenty of lings, and he's making a Roach Warren. If you remember, to begin with, DRG held against the Glaive Adepts very well. It was just, you know, later on, like, he slipped up a little bit, a shade was committed to, and that's when damage started going down.
Yeah, it definitely was. I'm just staring at that gap in DRG's creep right at the end of that main base and natural base. Yeah.
It could come into play. It definitely could if the War Prism did dive in there. Meanwhile, just more Adepts are being morphed in. Lings are on the way, and again, these initial shades shouldn't be too scary. DRG has plenty to defend against them. It's later on, right? It's when the Adept count gets a little bit more insane. Oh my god, NightMare actually morphs in Stalkers.
Huh. That feels like a misclick to me, but let's see if he has anything in mind with them. I guess now he's just clearing out the Overlords at this point. He knows he can't break DongRaeGu just yet.
I don't know if you remember this. There's one player who used to do this all the time last year.
Making me room.
Does any
making me room
in the oceanic scene?
I was trying to forget.
Who goes from Adepts into Stalkers like this into Disruptors? It's Pez. Pez did this all the time last year. Did it all the time against players like GoGoJoy. He actually beat GoGoJoy with this. We'll see if NightMare will have enough success. Again, a very old style coming out from him. These things dealing a surprising amount of damage, getting himself with the Stalkers. Oh my god.
They're gonna be able to take out as many as they can. The Stalkers will get elevated in and out. Microed really well. NightMare still has a decent army on his hands, but DongRaeGu trading a lot better at the end of that.
Definitely. God, again, these Disruptors are going to do very well against the Roach Ravager. Like, it's very difficult to split Roach Ravager against Disruptor shots, but at the same time, losing all those gateway units like that, now you have so much less of a buffer to protect your Robo units if you're a NightMare.
He absolutely does not, and Disruptors are kind of the last unit you want to keep exposed. It's so easy to expose them accidentally as well. All about that gateway buffer.
Oh boy, definitely. And NightMare, he tries to harass here towards the south. He does get pushed away. Likewise, DRG also takes control of the northern Xel'Naga tower, and NightMare, he's just forced to stay at home. He just has to chill, slowly expand, slowly work on that Disruptor count.
Which is starting to get higher and higher. He's about to get a third on his hands. DongRaeGu he wants to pull the trigger pretty soon, right? If he misses the window of opportunity, then he's gonna have to get to the next phase of the game. Who knows how long that's gonna take? Who knows what NightMare's gonna take in that time?
Oh boy. And I mean, NightMare, he's trying to push out here. I imagine he just wants to take the tower. I'd be worried for his life. If he actually goes across and tries to take out one of these bases. He does have a recall available to him if he does overextend. Meanwhile, he does step onto creep, and now DRG is aware. The Disruptors are coming in though.
Force a cancel. That they do. NightMare's starting to make his move, bringing most of his army to this point. And DongRaeGu respecting the ball so much. Decent purification over there, and that may be just enough for NightMare to start making some gains. Oh, but the Biles do not land on the Warp Prism.
Exactly. Solid
Second
on,
later.
yeah, solid on siege micro there. NightMare was able to keep his Warp Prism alive. Back off, massive warp in here. Once again, forces another on siege though.
Yeah, and that was with oh
my God.
the mid warp in, kind of wasting the gateway. Cooldown. One more bile is all DongRaeGu needs on top of that Warp Prism.
Exactly. If only he had one more Ravager, that Warp Prism would have gone down and the aggression of NightMare would have ended then and there.
Mindset, it is going to continue. Disruptor moving its way forward a little bit. Wants to hit that Purification Nova, but the Disruptor was so exposed that it does get taken out before the Nova lands. DongRaeGu, he's reversing the momentum light.
That he is. He's going to be able to take down all of these Stalkers. This Warp Prism needs to get out of here, otherwise he's going to be biled down. Oh my God.
NightMare, we got to get out of there. Okay, he does.
Just barely in time.
And he's going to continue the fight.
Yeah, and there are just so many roaches, so many lings coming across the map. NightMare, his Disruptor count was reset. He does have one Disruptor at home. He has another on the way, but they need to be a part of this fight.
They absolutely do. At this point, that Warp Prism might as well be dead supply. It's not really helping out in the micro. He can't siege it up to get warp-ins. Otherwise, he's going to get biled down. He will make the best use of it as he can. And that's why to evacuate a couple of units. These Banelings are going to soften up the Stalkers a little bit if they connect.
Yeah, and beautiful micro there by DRG. He was able to dodge the Disruptor shot, and the biles do land, taking out 2 shield batteries.
There is still a battery overcharge available, but he does dodge so many Purification Novas.
Oh my God.
Zealot's being taken out with that Ravager. NightMare completely out of shield batteries, out of Purification Novas, and DongRaeGu is keeping his finger on that Z key. He is rallying everything he's got across the map.
God, that he is. Nothing but lings being rallied, and you know what? The third is gone now. He's down to 2 bases, but the Purification Novas they go off.
Those are some of the most perfect Purification Novas he could have gotten here for NightMare, but there's just way too much. Look, the lings dip in and they dip out.
Oh God, that they do. Like NightMare, he's holding on for now, but really to what end, right? He lost the 3rd base. He's pulling the boys. No, he's long distance mining. Never mind. Oh God. But DRG, he needs to just go back, lick his wounds a little bit, recuperate, like kind of regain control of his army, and then just push out again.
Which is what he's working towards. He's just opening up as many paths of attack as possible, clearing these rocks. The Warp Prism is DRG's biggest fear right now. But it's so low. There are queens here now, Light. There are biles here to hurt them into the queens.
Exactly. Here come the Stalkers. A Nova does go off and it does land. But you know what? There's only one Disruptor here. Oh, DRG, he doesn't go for it though. He does back off. Instead, he actually denies the base once again.
Might as well. And that's gonna be enough. GG's call. DongRaeGu is your ESL Open Cup number 70 Asia champion. Well played coming off here from the one true Dong. Again, just super solid defense against the Glaive Adepts. He is the professor who wrote the book on how to defend against Glaives. And NightMare was making gains though. After his initial opening. Had a lot of really good Purification Nova connections. He was doing a whole lot with Blink Stalkers. The micro in that battle by the 4th base was beautiful to see. But in the end, DRG, he got away with his early greed. His economy was untouched, and he could continue to pump out Roach after Ravager, after Zergling, after Queen. In the end, overwhelming NightMare. We're not gonna dream well, but we're not gonna have NightMare side of the night. DRG made sure of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have nothing but dongs tonight, mate. That's what we're gonna have.
I mean, that's usually what I dream about. So.
Oh God, GG, congratulations, DongRaeGu. He is our champion. Well fought there. I mean, again, some of the people in the chat were pointing it out, mate. The splits, Poppy against the Disruptors were insane. Beautiful. Oh my God, the way that he was able to pull it off was crazy. Envious as another Zerg player, but yes, really well done there.
S?
I mean, Envy isn't the StarCraft team anymore. But yeah, just...
Team Envious is what Team Envy is.
True, yeah. Team Envy. Yeah, there you go. Oh god. But yeah, GG, and with that, we are reaching the end of the tournament. But we are not done for the day.
You are.
I am done.
Eat some goddamn empanadas.
The CranKy Ducklings are not done. We did reach it. It has been 12 hours straight of casting. I needed to go to the bathroom like 3 hours ago, mate. I need to...
Wait, hold up. We have salt for time salt.
Are you trying to do math? Is that what you're trying to do right now?
I don't think I have it on my... No, I do have it on my phone. I do have it on my phone. Light has hit 12 hours.
You could have just cued me and I would have gone... Fanfare in the chat. We made it, people. We made it. And we're not done, because in just a couple of hours, in 3 hours, we will be back with Demi C Weekly number 22.
That we are. That's going to be casted by Steel, as well as Alex. Light is finally going to go to pass out.
Not quite.
Some empanadas.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat. I do have to stay up because, again, I am like pseudo adminning for that. What I mean by that is I have to promote the events, I have to set up the stream as well. So, still plenty of work here. But yes, it was.
That feels bad.
It was a great day of casting here. Honestly, I'm not too tired. My throat is actually pretty okay as well. It just comes down to being hungry.
Yeah, that's the power of the hot six.
It's pretty important to at least have one meal in a day, and right now it's 4:30 p.m. and I have not had breakfast.
Yeah,
I need some goddamn food.
You're on that cast fast, casting fasting, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Aye. Oh boy. But thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Yaku, for joining me for ESL Open Cup Asia.
Yeah.
Even if this was a relatively short tournament, was what, 2 hours?
We speed run our way through.
We did. Armani helped out.
I think it started. Yeah. You really did. Armani and Dream as well. A little bit, I guess. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the tournament went on for about 3.5 hours, so it's shorter than usual. Of course, we hopped in a little bit later, so yeah, much shorter broadcasts coming up from us.
Definitely. But I mean, you know, I'm not opposed to it. It does give us plenty of time to get ready for our next tournament. So yeah, stay tuned for that. For those wondering, what the hell is Demi C Weekly? It is a weekly Oceanic and Southeast Asian tournament. So if you want to tune in for the players like Mio Micah, Ender, Oreo, Pez, Azure, Peppy, all the best players from Oceania and Southeast Asia, they will be featured in that tournament. As Yaku said, we won't be casting it. Kura will be doing production and observing, and it will be casted by Steel Mold and Alex. If you do want to spend some of your points and redeem some group pleases, then that is the opportunity to do so.
If it's open.
Oh boy. But yes, thank you everyone for dropping by. Shout out to Dali in the chat, was moderating, was chilling in there for the longest time. Hanette as well. Some of the other regulars, Dragon Soul, Steel Mold.
Coming in at a bit of a wrong time, buddy.
Yeah, Chileno Singaporean. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Hey, ¿cómo estás?
Como siempre. Boy, but yes, thank you everyone. May at least try and say some Spanish words. Oh god, but Yaku, where can people find more of you?
In a doctor office, getting eyes checked. That's usually the thing happening. But if I do decide to stream, that's gonna be at twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. I will actually announce, well, unless I forget, I will actually announce when I'm streaming this time over at twitter.com at Empora Yakuzaku !Discord in the chat. Find myself, you can find Light, you can send Light your empanadas, he needs some, and as well as the other members of CranKy. Apart from that, buy my shirts. Where can we find you, Light?
light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I do stream occasionally throughout the week, but probably not this week because we are chock full of StarCraft casting. Oh boy, tomorrow we have a day off, but after that we are getting straight into the DreamHack qualifiers. This week are the qualifiers for Oceania, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China, as well as NA and Latin America. So all the qualifiers are this week. We're going to be casting every single one of them, or as many as we can. The only thing we won't be casting are the EU qualifiers, because they are at an awful time for us, and despite what you may think, especially after today, we do need to sleep at some point. We do need some rest.
Well, if you get enough hot sixes. If you get enough to... Wait, I sent you a recipe yesterday.
You did, and I promptly ignored it. You sent me like a recipe for like a super coffee or something, like an herbal.
That's turmeric coffee. Yeah, that's the first one I saw a couple of years ago.
Oh boy.
It became the thingy. And I'm like, listen, this is something that actual vegans use, so you know. You can't get on me for that.
I'll get on you all you want me. But thanks everyone for watching. Gracias everyone, and we will see you in 3 hours
for Demi Weekly. Bye.
Ciao.
Bella.